Welcome back. You're watching Newsx with me, Medha Sharan. Now, Wing Commander Namansh Syal, the brave IF pilot lost in yesterday's Tejas crash at the Dubai Airshow, was born 37 years ago in the serene hills of Patiala village in Nagrota, Bagwan Tehsil in Kangra district in Himachal Pradesh. He was shaped by discipline from a young age, and he was the son of retired army man and principal Jagannath Syal, a legacy of service that would propel him skyward. From Himachal's valleys to the cockpit, Wing Commander Namansh Syal honed his wings at Sainik School Sujanpur Tira in Hamirpur, then stormed the prestigious National Defence Academy in Hunter Squadron. Graduating from the Air Force Academy, this 37-year-old Kangra native embodied the unyielding spirit of India's aerial guardians, ready to defend the nation's blue frontiers. Wing Commander Namansh Syal wasn't just a pilot, he was master of skies. Trained on the nimble MiG-21 and the mighty Sukhoi Su-30 MKI, the 37-year-old IF officer brought precision and poise to every flight. Posted with 45th Squadron, the Flying Daggers at Sulur Air Base, his expertise made him the trusted choice for showcasing India's indigenous Tejas on global stages. Celebrated for his aerial artistry, Wing Commander Namansh Syal, aged 37 from Himachal's Kangra, mesmerized crowds at the Aero India and countless national air shows with daring loops and flawless formations. Known for calm precision under pressure, this seasoned display pilot from 45th Squadron turned every maneuver into a testament to Indian aviation's soaring prowess. In the end, Wing Commander Namansh Syal was the epitome of duty, a 37-year-old son of Himachal Pradesh whose life from Kangra's classrooms to the Tejas cockpit inspired a generation. Hailed by leaders for his indomitable bravery and national commitment, his tragic fall in Dubai etches an eternal tribute. A patriot who flew not just for glory, but for the skies above us all. I am joined by Air Marshal Anil Chopra, who is the former Vice Chief of Air Staff. Greetings to you, sir. Now, as you've seen the visuals in your assessment, what do you think happened in those few seconds from when the plane took off to it being mid-air and then suddenly crashing and erupting into a fireball?
Yeah, very unfortunate accident. We are seeing the visuals on your television screen. Such a handsome couple, both, from the Air Force, and what a great professional he was. He was performing this for some time now. He's in India and abroad, and he had, done a tremendous, beautiful displays earlier in the air show. With great loss, yes. There, of course, a court of inquiry has been ordered and a lot will come out as to what actually happened. But we all have seen the entire display maneuver that has been put up by you all on the television channels, and we know that from a turn which was an outside turn, negative G turn, he did a short pause, and thereafter he was doing a downward maneuvering, maneuver to reposition, and in that process he has, hit the ground. Obviously, he has run out of, speed and not been able to pull out from the dive, and could not even eject, which is even very sad, because sometime the pilot at such a crucial time could have ejected. But obviously, what was going on in the cockpit is not what we, know about. So therefore, I feel, of course, while the court of inquiry will come out with more details, but there could be a technical reason, there could be, some control problem, loss of power in the engine. We do not know. It's all conjectures at this stage, but we feel sorry for the family. Our condolences also to the Squadron boys, because, when you lose a dear pilot, a crew, we all have grown in service. With my 40 years of service, I've seen losing good friends in air accidents, but this is the way of our life. The world show will carry on. We will continue. We learn from this accident. He was a brave soldier, and we are very proud of his service to the nation.
Additionally, sir, Tejas is a key example of India's Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. Now, in your opinion, in your assessment, do you think this could have a larger impact on India's story as far as indigenous aircrafts are concerned?
Yeah, yes, when you lose an aircraft which is still young and growing in service, indigenous aircraft, Atmanirbharta is very, very important. This is a program after the HF-24 of the 1960s. This is the first major program, and from here are going to flow the LCA Mark II and the AMCA aircraft, and therefore its success is extremely important. We have already ordered, the Indian Air Force ordered it in large numbers, and more than 200 aircraft Mark 1 and 1As will be with the Indian Air Force. It's going to replace the MiG-21s. We need numbers. It's going to have modern missiles, air-to-air especially, and also air-to-ground. And therefore, there is going to be a lot of action, combat action that we are looking forward to, Tejas. I hope that it will not affect the program unless it has some, technical glitch which is identified by court of inquiry. Otherwise, I don't see the program getting affected. And in fact, we should, it is a whole of nation approach. The entire country has to get back to, getting the aircraft pushing. We all know that LCA Mark 1A is already nearly 2 years behind the schedule. And instead of getting it in March of 2024, we'll now get it close to March 2026. But the program will succeed. There are a lot of mature statements which have come up in the last 12 hours to 14 hours from different people. And we all in the Air Force are fully backing this program, and that is why we have placed so many orders.
All right, Air Marshal Anil Chopra, appreciate you sharing your insights with us. I also have, let me quickly bring into this conversation Group Captain UK Devnath as well, who's a former IF officer. Sir, in your assessment, what do you think transpired? Why did this jet crash? And perhaps a critical question remains that why did the pilot perhaps not eject?
Medha, condolences to the family. This aircraft definitely, I can tell the viewers that it is one of the best light combat aircraft in world. Very highly reliable. The first prototype started flying in 2001. Until date, it has completed more than 13,000 hours of flying, accident free. Yes, last year also there was an accident in which finally some parameters of the engine were found not satisfactory. This particular crash which took place yesterday, it will be too mature to say exactly what has gone wrong. But Medha, I was myself a fighter pilot. Last I flew MiG-23, 34 years in Air Force. Have seen large number of accidents. In most of the accidents, pilot manages to eject. I also ejected from MiG-23 when my time came one day. But I was lucky, survived with the paralysis of left hand only. What happens with in this particular case, the pilot probably when he realized that something is wrong, after that he got just 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second crash. So there was no time for him to eject. And last 4-second clip also shows that he would have been under a huge amount of G, positive G. What I can visually see at that moment, 3 seconds to go, 2 seconds to go, he was experiencing, in fighter pilot, we use the jargon pulling, about 6 to 7, maybe 8 G. At that time, it is very difficult for any pilot to eject. Now, in my Air Force career of 34 years, I can roughly say I have experienced hundreds every year, dozens, and 34 years, hundreds of air accidents. I was also part of Flight Safety Inspection Board. So the rough data I can share, out of every 100 air accidents which take place in any Air Force, where it may be US Air Force, it may be Russian Air Force, Israel Air Force, about 40% are due to technical difficulties. I will not say error. No technician intentionally makes an error. Technical difficulties, about out of 140. Similarly, out of 100 accidents, about 40 are due to human error in the sense that the envelope at which the pilot was operating was a little beyond any normal human or superhuman being capability. In this instance, it appears that he was carrying out maneuvers which are very, very challenging and demanding. What happens in any air show? The pilot is briefed to carry out certain authorized maneuvers. So, definitely during an air show, the aim is to put the best foot forward, the best pilot, the best engineers go to air show who maintain the aircraft. This aircraft was definitely carrying out maneuvers which were at max performance envelope. So it is flying within design limits. Definitely does not appear that the aircraft had departed from briefed parameters. Now, what has gone wrong? Analysis of cockpit voice recorder, analysis of digital flight data recorder, and pilots are normally continuously in touch with the air traffic control. ATC also keeps recording the voice of the pilot. Analysis will tell us exactly what has gone wrong. Amita, what happens? Like these videos we are seeing on screen right now, these have been taken by the spectators during the air show. Officially, also, professional photographs of Indian Air Force, they carry out continuous video monitoring because that has got a commercial aspect to it. So, analysis of the official videos will give much more clues. Now, did this something
Right,
went
sir.
wrong technically? It is yet to be decided by court of inquiry.
All right, sir. Appreciate you sharing your time and your perspective with us here at Newsx. I'm also joined by Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran, who's a former IF officer. Good morning, sir. So you've seen the visuals on your screen. What do you think transpired from the moment that the jet took off to the moment it crashed?
So I had shared one video, and this is something that I saw yesterday. So most of us had a 15-second video, which was not very conclusive, which was very confusing as to, there were a lot of questions which came as to why didn't the pilot eject and things like that. But if you look at this 1 minute video, the platform per se, Tejas was behaving absolutely fine. There was no reason to suspect any technical malfunction of the aircraft because it was doing just about everything. And the pilot was stretching it to the edge of the envelope. Now, if you actually keenly observe this 1 minute video and specifically the last 15 seconds, the flight was approximately around 400, 500 feet. And why I'm saying 400, 500 feet is, if you look at the last video, you can see the fencing. And the fencing in Dubai is roughly, if you calculate, it is anywhere between 18 to 20, 25 odd feet. So if I keep it at around 20, 25 feet, the approximate height that I can, extrapolate from there at the junction when this problem happened is around 400, 500 feet. That's when the pilot undertakes a roll. And when you undertake a roll, and it suddenly loses height to around 100 feet because of the roll. And then the pilot recovers from the roll, which means the fly-by-wire system was perfect. The controls were okay because he had recovered and he had stabilized the flight. But in the process, what had happened was that he's already lost the height to less than 100 feet. That's roughly around 2 times the height of the fence, 2 to 3 times the height of the fence. So he was somewhere between 75 to 100 feet. And that means that within 2 to 3 seconds, the flight was almost crashing. So what happened was, while the pilot thought that he is going up, the aircraft was not behaving the way that he thought it was behaving. And this is called typically a kind of a mush scenario in fighter aircraft pilot jargons. And that's what most of my colleagues been talking about since yesterday. And this is what did him in, probably a misjudgment of altitude, a slight calculation, and then a margin of error was 1 to 2 seconds because he was anyway operating at the edge of the envelope. And these things contributed, and that explains why he didn't eject. And by the time he could have ejected, it was far too low. He was probably at 50, 60 feet or maybe 70 feet. That is not sufficient enough for him to eject safely.
All right, sir.
And even if he had pressed a button, by the time it reacted, it was just 2 to 3 seconds and then it just crashed. So this is potentially my assessment of what happened.
All right, sir. Appreciate you sharing your insights.